Hey everybody,
Wow.
Kurt here from from the Bad Penny blog, badpennyblog.com. Here on it's a nice sunny afternoon here in Boise. It's like 4 o'clock where you are. I'm very grateful to be joined today by Franzi of Lukka. That's pronunciations already. Yeah, yeah. Cool.
Hi.
And you're recovering. You're saying from the Colossus Fest, it's called, right? Yeah.
Yes, the New
Yeah.
Colossus Festival. It was
Yeah.
quite a marathon of many bands playing in the Lower East Side and East Village. So it's been a
Yeah.
quite uh, amazing experience.
hmm is it growing in size or like stature every year? Do you know? Can you tell or
I think it's getting bigger.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it definitely, I'm not sure when they started the festival if there were international acts. I think they just took in bands from the US and Canada, I believe.
Mm.
But now that we have European bands and from all over, I think it attracted more attention, definitely.
Yeah.
And it's huge. I mean, I wished I could have seen more bands. I missed, unfortunately, some bands because I wanted to see. I had to make a decision between two or three bands sometimes a
Yeah.
night, and yeah. But it's. I can recommend everyone going there. It's a really great vibes and a beautiful experience to get to know other artists from other countries, and then yeah, just hang out with friends and have a good time.
Yeah. Are you the kind of person who like, when you're not on stage, do you do a lot of like hobnobbing and socializing in the green rooms and stuff like that? Or
I mean, this year it was kind of crucial for me to do that. I normally wouldn't do it because I have a single dropping tomorrow,
oh, cool.
and then Vendikim, my third album, is gonna come out in the summertime.
Yeah.
So yeah, of course, it was a little bit my idea to like maybe there's someone who could who would want to give an interview or could put me on their radio channel or just do kind of yeah, reach out there and see if I somehow could promote that album and market it somehow.
Uh-huh.
So but that's just a minor thing.
Yeah.
I think the main purpose of obviously was to see good music.
Yeah. Well, you got me instead, unfortunately. And you're telling me before I hit record that you played there 3 years ago, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you nervous at that going on stage there? I mean, I knew you've been making
Um,
music since like 2012 or something, right? But
yeah, so 3 years ago, I was kind of lucky because somebody dropped out and they just filled me in last minute. And
wow.
I think I wasn't, of course, you're a little bit nervous always, but maybe a little unprepared to play. And there were quite a lot of people, but we had a great time and the reception was really good. So, but
Awesome.
I remember being, yeah, I was a little nervous, but at the
Yeah.
same time, it's just always a mixture of excitement and being nervous when you're on stage for me.
Totally, yeah. Do you have like a go-to venue that you play at frequently in New York, or do you kind of just go all over? Or
So I live in the East Village, so there is a venue here on Avenue A called Berlin Under, which
okay.
is a strange coincidence since I'm from
You're
Germany.
Berlin? Yeah, right.
I feel connected to that venue. I also somehow feel connected to Orleans Groceries on Stanton Street. I like that venue a lot.
Okay.
So I think, yeah, those two venues, Berlin Under and Orleans, are my favorites to go.
Yeah. With the new song coming out tomorrow, have you played that live yet at all? Or
We have played it live once at the last show. I believe it was at Alphaville in Brooklyn.
okay.
And but we'll do a single release show at Berlin Under on March 25th, and
Wow.
that's when we're gonna be rocking out that song. It's gonna come out tomorrow. Yeah,
And the album's coming out June 5, right?
June 5. Yeah,
Yeah. And did you say the name is Wunderkind? Like what?
Vendikind. Yeah.
Wunderkind. Okay, cool. Um, yeah, because I was looking. You just put out Encounters 2, which was a full length in September, right? I think it
Hmm.
was. Yeah.
That was a remaster and remix.
Okay.
Um, I just the story behind that is I released that album in 2018
Hmm.
And that was kind of around the time where I had the band for 2 years, but I didn't know many people yet, and it just kind of was thrown out into the empty black hole. And I believe like I had an album launch show at I know this is a really sad story right now.
That's okay.
I had an album launch show in 2018 at Pianos, and I think like 10 people came out to that. So
Yeah.
it didn't really get much reception, and I liked a couple of songs there, and then I got a mastering for free, which I shouldn't have done at the time. So, and a lot of people told me the mastering is a little, can I curse? It's a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
messed up.
totally.
So
Go for
can I
it.
say up?
Yeah.
So and so I said, well, I'm gonna go back to the studio, re-record some tracks. I got to know a really fine producer called Abe Seifert. He's at Transmitter Park Studios, so we
Okay.
worked on these tracks together and remixed them a little bit and then remastered. And I think they sound way, way better than the first album that came out. And also it reached out to new and more people this time.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of thought it's a nice little thing to do to create a little buzz before the new songs come
Yeah.
out, like the new songs. So I did that. So yeah,
Very cool. Very cool.
I'm pretty happy about that.
Good. That's awesome. When did you move to New York? How long have you been how long have
Um,
you been there for? Yeah.
I came in 2012
Mhm.
for a couple of months, and then coming back was for good was 2013.
Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, was it your desire to pursue a music career that led you to New York, or did you go for
That's why I came.
living the dream?
Yeah. Yeah, I was still really young and um super, I mean, yeah, I was really naive thinking too that it might be someone is gonna see me play or whatever. And but I always say to myself, good that it's good to be naive, because then at least you try.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's I mean, I see a lot of younger people now, and they are now my age. I was 10 years ago, and they're so
Mhm.
much more so much brighter and more understanding of like how connections work in society. And I
Yeah.
wasn't like that at all.
Sure.
But that made me kind of just really go for it, and kind of thinking there is a way somehow to succeed.
Yeah.
And it's been really tricky, but I mean, I teach music right now. That's how I make a living besides
Oh,
playing in a band. So
awesome.
my whole life is evolved around music. So I kind of achieved what I wanted to do, but it's been very hard.
Yeah. Sure.
And if I would have seen the way I would have to go when I was in my early 20s coming here, I'd be probably more scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there like one single point in time or moment when you're really like not sure if you're going to be able to cut it or
Um, well, I've been through a couple of jobs. I started as a dog walker here, and I had to walk this really vicious dog. It was a pit bull mix, like I think it was a pit bull lab mix, and
Yeah.
he was really vicious, and every time I opened the door, he would just like really kind of attack me. And I needed like 20 minutes to get the leash around
My God.
his neck. So that was really pretty low times for me.
I'm just laughing because it's almost like this physical manifestation of the city, like the city or the dog representing the city is just like going to eat you alive, you know?
Yeah, yeah, it was really really tricky.
That's good. It's good to get over that though. But it's healthy to have that sort of like naivete when you start out, right? Because then you're all that much you're all the more authentic, and people really gravitate toward that. No?
Yeah, I think it's so important to try. And just I also believe that it's so important to set your goals really high, because even I just came to understand, like, even if you don't get where you want to be, like 10 years ago I was dreaming that like right now I would play at Glastonbury, for example, right? That was my dream. Obviously I'm not there, but
Right.
going that way, so many other things happen, and having that high bar of expectation and that big dream just leads you to different things, and the way to go there is actually a really beautiful journey. In a way,
Mhm.
you meet so many people on the way, and those people you met who you kind of just wanted to work with became your really close friends, and then somehow something else happens, and um it's it and it just creates your life in a way. And if I wouldn't have dreamt being a musician in the first place, then maybe I would be locked down in an office or somewhere, call
Yeah.
center, who the hell knows.
Sure.
So I'm quite happy that I risk some things there.
Yeah. What's the expression? It's not the goal, but it's not the mission, but the journey. The
Yeah,
journey is, and
yeah, definitely.
um, uh,
So
that
the
kind of
journey is really yeah, beautiful.
like if you don't enjoy that part, you're just going to be unhappy for most of the time you're trying to
Yeah.
better yourself, improve yourself. But I just want to go back to one thing you were saying before about the piano performance. I talked to it was either a musician or comedian a few months ago, and they said said that they were a few years into their career, but I asked her, somehow came up like, what was the worst show that you've had? And they said they played a bar and no one was there. Like like not a single person. So the person did the whole set, even though nobody was inside. And
Yeah.
I guess I so there was like a bartender in the back who's like,
Yep, exactly. The bartender's there. Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, I'm really grateful to be talking to you today. I don't know, did Brendan kind of give you a sense of what I wanted to talk about?
Just some aspects of my childhood I was reading, and the album itself, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 definitely that. And so I've been doing this series called On Tyranny.
Hmm.
In it's about you know, artists trying to function and trying to survive and do their craft while living in a country that's under authoritarian rule. And I started doing this about a year and a half ago and was talking with musicians from like Russia and Hungary and UAE and
Hmm.
Qatar and Iraq, and got all sorts of different senses of what limitations they had, but also what freedoms that they had as well in
Mm.
pursuing their art.
Yeah.
But about 6 months ago, I kind of shifted the focus to the United States because,
Yeah.
the conditions that I was hearing described in those countries are now what's come here.
If we're not
So,
careful enough, then it's gonna be here too.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was fascinated when Brendan told me that you grew up in Berlin. Um, there was a couple questions that immediately jumped to mind. Was you were there when the wall fell, right? Is that
Well, the thing is, I didn't really grow up inside the city center.
okay?
I'm from a small town that's about, I would say, an hour and a half off Berlin,
Okay.
away from Berlin. So it's in the southeast of Berlin, and the small towns named nobody know. It's called Riesa, and basically, I if people ask me where I'm from, I would just say I grew up close to Berlin, because nobody nobody can associate with any other city there.
Right.
So, but I mean, I had a beautiful childhood being in a small town. You don't really, as a child, think politically yet or see anything around what caused anything. But I do remember going to cities, let's say Dresden,
Mhm.
where let's say there's a famous church which is called the Frauenkirche, which it was still in ruins after the Second World War. So
Wow.
that was kind of crazy. I mean, when you think that I mean, 45, that's like what, 45 years later or 50 years later,
Yeah.
that church is still there, lying down there in ruins.
Mm.
That's one thing I do remember. But then later on, when you get older, you kind of see how the people who were growing up in the so-called GDR, that was the east part of Germany, it was called GDR,
Okay.
um, how they have a totally different mindset than, let's say, the people in West Germany and how very I don't want to talk for everyone, but it is a little bit narrower and more like the tunnel view than
Mhm.
they have a tunnel view than the people I think that were growing up in the Western world. But
Yeah.
I just believe that it's also caused by the Russian propaganda and
Mhm.
being enclosed in this certain area and not being able to receive anything from the Western world and
Mhm.
yeah, and just being manipulated by Russian propaganda.
Yeah, yeah. Do you, I'm kind of curious, like, if you talk to like your grandparents about this or anything, but like, it is true, right, that some of the first, like one of the first groups that was targeted in Germany in the 20s, 30s was it was artists, right? Like artists were,
Intellectuals and artists.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, they were, yeah, I mean, Hitler was going obviously against people who could see through his whole ideology and who would, think otherwise and think more intellectually about the whole thing and trying to convince people that this is no, that's not the right way to go.
hmm
It's
hmm
yeah, that actually happened, and it was way worse at the time because basically people got executed
yeah,
for raising their opinion
yeah.
against the establishment. Yeah.
And this, he was such a great painter, you know. Sorry, he was a painter, I think,
Yeah.
yeah, so I guess you, did you have you talked to anybody who stayed there, any artists who stayed there during the duration of the war and survived and was able to tell, their story about what they couldn't do? Like, I mean, was everything kind of underground almost? And
That was a long time ago. I mean,
yeah.
the the, uh, the the title of my album is Wendekind, which basically means I was born exactly at the time when the wall fell,
Oh,
and that there's also a reason why I left um, that Germany, because I'm not from a very artistic family. I mean, that I couldn't really find anyone in my when I grew up that could vibe with me in the same way. So
yeah.
I haven't really met any artist or, let's say, politically engaged people
Mm,
in East Germany.
mhm,
But I heard a lot. I mean, my family, they were telling a lot of stories, and I heard lots of stories of oppression. And
yeah.
there was, for example, in East Germany, police that would install bugs in people's house, like they would listen in.
Oh yeah.
So there's actually a very good movie
Lives of Others.
exactly, yeah, about that. And yeah, I mean, this kind of behavior and then not knowing who to trust
Yeah.
can kind of really make people paranoid. And I can see it. I know some people who still like, who I can feel that they are paranoid about that, and the government listening in,
Yeah.
and I'm on the phone with them and there would be some noise, and
Yeah.
that person would tell me, did you hear that? Don't say anything, or I should not say anything about our president right now, or anything like that. So
Oh,
there's that paranoia still
yeah.
going in some
Well,
people, I think. I don't
yeah.
want to talk for everyone.
But are you seeing, um, you must know what it feels like to be in a place where a lot of people are paranoid. Are you starting to sense that in New York because of like ICE, being in masks and grabbing people? Like in other words, it's almost justified to be paranoid now.
That's
Like,
the difference what I feel here, and I'm actually very glad about that. That's a thing in Germany. Germans were just standing there, not doing anything, and here in New York, I can feel
hmm,
the attitude saying "fuck that shit," right? We're gonna
yeah,
do something about it,
right.
and that's very exhilarating. I mean,
Hmm,
it's just people are different, and
yeah,
people want to be free, and they want to lose their freedom here, and they're really fighting for it, and they have an attitude of not being intimidated by authority.
Mhm.
Whereas in Germany, I think Germans can be more intimidated by authority. I mean,
Yeah.
seeing with myself, I had that a long time within me, but now being here in this country,
Right.
maybe I washed that off a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's
I had one incident. I was in 2 or 3 years ago. I was in Berlin, and it was right in front of the Reichstag, the parliament.
mhm.
And there is a one-way street. I mean, there's a two-way street, but they are separated by a footwalk, like a sidewalk in between
Okay.
those two lanes. And it was like in the evening, and there was a red light, and no car was coming. There
Huh.
was no car coming, and there were people waiting for the red light to go green. And on the other side, I see a police officer standing there. Yeah, and I'm looking, and I said, I just gonna jaywalk, whatever, right? And of course, the police officer saw me, and like German authority and everything has to be in order, right?
Right. Right.
Said to me, "Es ist rot." And I remember I was just really just like, I don't care, and I just like yapped at him something in English,
Yeah.
and he just looked at me and kind of confused, and I just walked on. But I think that thing would have not happened to me
Right.
15
Yeah.
years ago if I wouldn't have had the American influence in me.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I mean, gosh, now in New York, you can pee wherever you want in New York. That's
yeah. I mean, it's different, but it is dangerous, and
Mm.
I do believe we have to be very careful and not let things slide and let people in power do whatever they want to do. Because if they see that they can get away, they're trying right now, and they see if they can get away with things.
Yeah.
And if nothing would happen within society, if there would be no demonstrations, if there would be no one, let's say, on television speaking out against it,
Yeah.
and I'm very glad that a lot of actors and comedians are speaking out against it, then things could easily slide into like major dictatorship
Right.
and and oppression
Mhm.
of society. But I'm
Yeah.
hopeful that this will not happen
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, I mean, uh, just speaking from my own personal experience, like I get really upset when some of my friends and family members, not uh, wanted to talk about certain subjects because they might say the wrong thing or like there's also that idea of what's it called? Obeying in advance, that whole
Mm,
thing of like before you actually get threatened by the police, um, you're already like kind of censoring your own behavior for fear that it might happen, kind of thing.
yeah, yeah.
And so I'm just curious because like just as an American who's lived in democracy, put in quotes if you
Mm.
want, but I mean, like, um, I get really upset when people don't speak out. So how do you react when you see people not speaking out or people being complacent? Um,
Well,
yeah,
that's the thing though. Like, I mean, I do understand people's fear, and everybody is different. I mean, there are people that are completely insecure and scared,
yeah,
and then also it depends in what position they're in. I mean, some
true.
people, they might be
Yeah,
very secure financially. They have a solid family support,
yeah,
and
that's true.
it all plays a role um, what support they get in the background. And but I do believe that you should at least show yourself on demonstrations and walk if when there's other 1,000 people are walking.
Right.
That's definitely something that everybody can do
Yeah,
to add to the crowd and to really so that there are thousands in the streets, and that politicians and the people in power will see that there is a massive counter attack. Can I say counter?
opposition or counteroffensive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So it is important, but I do understand. It's also people have a life, and they have to pick up their kids, and they have to work, and they have to survive,
yeah,
and then get politically or in trouble. I mean, especially let's say in cities like Minneapolis and what's happening right now. I mean, it's pretty scary. Some of these ICE officers out of control and not going, or is there actually any protocol that they are acting on? I don't know. So
No, I don't think
it
so.
is very scary, and I do not get angry if somebody doesn't want to speak out, but I do believe that if there is a big organization and a big street protest,
Yeah.
then you should try everything to get involved with that
Yeah. Do
and
you think
choose to
part,
walk.
do you think part of the reason that you were drawn to the arts and became an artist, a musician, was because you knew that you were living in a a period of history where you were allowed to express yourself, whereas just, you know, 50 or 60 years before that, you couldn't have been a musician or artist. Was that part of the allure, I suppose?
It's crazy to think that really if I would have been born 5 years earlier, I would have. I mean, my birth certificate still has the communistic sickle on it. Like I'm still like citizen of that country that doesn't exist anymore.
Wow.
I do, I do feel that in within me that I'm getting very how can I say, agitated within inside of me when something happens that's unfair. Like
Yeah.
I can feel that within me that I want justice in a
Yeah.
way.
Hmm.
I do have that drive in me, and I do get upset when very upset when things happened in a very injustice way. So
Yeah.
I do have that within me, and it creates a lot of energy within me too. Yeah, I can say that
Yeah.
that
Would you
I have
say,
that in my blood somehow. Hmm.
yeah. I mean, would you say that there's a through line in your work, in the songs and albums you've put out that speaks to justice? Is that,
Um, I'm not sure that's the thing. Like, I believe with all that hatred that's going on and anger, I do believe that the answer is still love and unity. So I think that through my songs, that's the main message I want to kind of send out to the people, that I always see myself as an earthling,
yeah,
and I do believe in a peaceful world, but I also do believe that, let's say, anger cannot be fought with anger. That
right.
actually, like, if you, I think I want to express with my songs and somehow tell people, hey, we're all part of this world, this earth, and we're just,
Yeah,
riding in this galaxy with 500,000 miles per hour, and nobody knows shit. And
right,
there are people, they have a big mouth and they pretend that they know everything, but that's not the truth.
right.
And so, as I said before, I don't think that my music is not really angry, because I believe I cannot fight anger with anger. I
Mhm.
just want to spread the love and
Yeah,
kind of have some sort of, I guess, just send a vibration of cosmic unity,
yeah, yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
absolutely. I think, we often forget that love is a radical concept,
Mm.
like it's um it can be challenging sometimes to engage in love, but even when you know it's the right thing to do,
Yeah.
it's all too easy to discriminate or
Yeah.
hate somebody for whatever reason. But it's it takes a person of character to really exhibit love. And
Yeah.
um, do you feel like as you've grown your fan base over the years that the feeling of love has become more apparent at your concerts and just the way people are responding to your performances? Can you feel that?
I I do feel, since with the political situation too, I
Mhm.
do feel that there's much more help in the community and support, and yeah, love in general. Yeah, I do believe that people in the underground all of a sudden feel like they wanna. I mean, that's how I felt in the last year, and
Mhm.
I felt that within myself, that I want to help people that are not so privileged, and reach out. And yeah, that's definitely there.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Yeah. It's so wild because like, you know, um, it it wasn't too long ago when the conservatives sort of their big message was like um you know moralizing, like you have to behave well, you have to do things in a traditional way and conventional way. That was kind of their their whole platform, you
Mhm.
know? And now it's flipped so that now when I talk to artists of every stripe and musicians of every stripe, like morality and character are on our side. I mean, even
Yeah.
if you're the most deviant, like underground artist, you still, have more. I'm generalizing, obviously, but you still have more character than someone who's like got really bad motives. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that's what's missing with most of the leaders right now. It's just a lack of morality and a lack of character in a sense. I mean,
Yeah,
all these people, and I'm not talking also only about politicians, also people that are in the background, all these rich tech guys, and they it's funny. Like I think they're just changed by all that money they made, and they just I I don't know like. I mean, I don't know how it feels to have $1 trillion in your account. That's one thing, but I guess somehow it might make you feel like you're God, and then you forget that actually no, you're not.
yeah, just that.
and like yeah, I can understand that it could drive you crazy too. And but I feel, I mean, I feel the more money people get in a very easy way, the more wasteful they might become
Totally,
with it, and
totally.
the more reckless they might become with that. So
Yeah,
it's it's tricky because I always try to understand what made a person do certain things,
right.
and that's why I'm saying it's funny though. I do not feel a lot of hatred
Hmm.
there, and but I do believe that, as I said before, that somehow understanding can only come with love,
Yeah,
basically,
yeah.
to make people understand that this is not the right way to go. But it is hard. I mean, I think I'm very much Gandhi like in a way.
But you make a really good point, though. I mean, it could be that a lot of those people have a serious deficiency of love, that they weren't loved maybe
Yeah,
enough or something. I mean,
yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I do believe that it's just, yeah, if you there are probably tons of rich families, and kids are growing up with nannies, parents are never at home, and the parents never give love to their children, or hardly ever, because they're always outside, and then basically the child would grow up a relationship with the nanny more than with their
Yeah,
own parents,
sure.
and that can cause in the later on, I think, with a lot of rich people or rich young men and women, I guess,
Yeah.
like a lack of like feeling home in a
Hmm.
way.
Hmm.
Yeah, but it's hard to understand and really think about their psyche to really 100% pinpoint
Yeah.
what makes people do certain things. And I don't want to sound like I know everything. I mean, it might even, like, some person might be very insecure and then gets their heart broken, and then they want to destroy everything.
Nice.
And that happens too. So
Yeah, that's
there's
true.
a lot of reasons why people do certain things.
Yeah. Did you feel like we just have a few minutes left, and
Mm,
I hate when I hate it
yeah.
when the artist gets cut off mid-sentence. So I guess the last question I'll ask is, do you feel like with your new album that you um are able to bring those ideas you've been talking about into um a greater sense of clarity and focus than you had on previous records? Like, do you feel like you are fully able to express yourself in the way that you intend to, in the way you want to, more so than before?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's very much understanding our place where we are on this earth, and kind of just I do believe that with the sound and with the lyrics, that's one thing, but I also believe that that's why I don't believe in AI.
Yeah, yeah,
That there's something else that's recorded with music, and that's emotions and meaning to it. So I do believe that the vibration of my music could, like, cause people to become more peaceful, maybe, and
yeah,
loving. Well,
yeah,
that if that would happen, that would make me really happy.
yeah,
But that's basically my main goal, to do that,
yeah.
and just playing shows and having a good time and making people having a good time too.
Yeah. Like what is the perfect show for you? Like is it one where after you're done performing, people come and say hello, or is it a show where you hit every note perfectly, or
I
how would
think
you?
it's a show where I can completely let go of
Ah,
anything that would block me
yeah,
to play music, like where I can just completely be myself on stage and then
right.
maybe even like trip a little bit into a different realm
Yeah.
and just play an amazing guitar solo and then later tell myself, how did I do that?
That's
That would be a great show, just to really have some sort of spiritual experience there on stage. And then also feeling after the show that the audience felt the same thing.
absolutely right. Well, not to get too psychoanalytical about it,
Yeah.
but it's funny what you described right there is the exact opposite of what people were allowed to do in dictatorial
Mm.
regimes.
Yeah.
You just described like art at its freest.
Yeah.
It's just so cool.
Yeah.
Well, I really really enjoyed. I knew you were going to bring some cool perspective. I didn't know what to expect, but I've really enjoyed
Yeah.
talking with you, and I love your new record. I just got it a couple weeks ago, so I'm still getting used to it, but it's really great, and
Thank you.
I
Thanks.
feel, I feel very very privileged to have the opportunity to speak with you today. So thanks so much, and thanks for being so candid and honest as well. Um, you know,
Thanks.
really really enjoyed. Come to Boise, Idaho. That's where I am to play a
I,
show.
I do I do have a friend from Boise, Idaho. It's
Really?
strange that I didn't know that you're from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's me and your friend. We're the only two
Yeah.
who are here, so.
Yeah, so yeah, it's a pleasure and hopefully we'll can play at
Yeah,
Boise one day. That would be awesome.
it would be awesome.
Play a show over there.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Franzi. It's been really been a
Thank
pleasure.
you, Kurt. Thanks.
Okay. Have a good day, all
Okay,
right? Thanks.
bye.